let's move down south. Let's look at an SEC rivalry, one that Alabama has won 5 times in a row. That would be over Auburn.
And some awesome games.
In the Iron Bowl, yes, there have been some very fun games. The Gravedigger game from 2023. We've had a lot of fun ones in there. So Bo Nix was a starting quarterback for Auburn last time they beat Alabama. Now, what we're looking at here is Alabama 9-4 after losing the bowl game. So a down year for Alabama. We're still kind of wondering what their quarterback situation is too. They brought in Keelan Russell, 5-star freshman locally.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like Michigan where we don't know exactly what the offense is going to look like outside of Ryan Williams, their stud receiver. Auburn, another losing record last year. They've had the 2 seasons under Hugh Freeze. They've had losing records. They bring in the number 1 portal class. They bring in Jackson Arnold from Oklahoma to start for them. They bring in Eric Singleton Jr. from Georgia Tech, great wide receiver, the number 1 receiver in the portal. And they bring back Cam Coleman, another great receiver, several other weapons. This game is in Auburn. This will be a home game for War Eagle. Could this be the year? Is Auburn going to get off the schneid? Are they going to become daddy?
They could become daddy. I don't think it's going to be the year, though. I'm just not a huge believer right now in Hugh Freeze. I think you have massive quarterback questions. Like this game, it really doesn't matter to your point. Like they almost, if it weren't for Jalen Milroe and that crazy 4th down, they would have upset Alabama a couple of years ago. So you throw the records out all the time. But I do think Alabama just finds a way to get this one done and continues to be daddy over Auburn. Auburn, to your point, they did have a consensus top 10 recruiting class. I like some of the additions. We'll see. Like Jackson Arnold, I still think is a super talented player. It didn't work out for him at Oklahoma. I think he's an upgrade there over what they were doing with Peyton Thorne a year ago. Personally, I know what you saw from Jackson Darnold was a bunch of poochies. Maybe it just wasn't a good fit there with OU, and he ends up kind of turning it around at Alabama or at Auburn, matures a little bit, but I'm still going to roll Tide on this one.
And this is 100% roll Tide. I'm about to throw up the over-under win total for Auburn this year. It's 7.5.
Yeah.
So the over 7.5 wins for Auburn is -158. The under is 7.5, or the under is under 7.5.
What, 7-5 and 8-4 in the first 2 years with Hugh Freeze?
No, they've had losing records.
We're
talking 5-7, 6-6.
Oh dear God!
Yes. So that's where the excitement is. They bring in this good recruiting class. They bring in a good portal class. But I'm telling you guys right now, slam the under on Auburn. If it's 7.5, 7 or 6 wins is where they're going to sit. So they play the exact same SEC schedule as they did last year. The same teams. They just flip home and road. They open the season at Baylor on Friday night.
That's tough.
Baylor, I currently have losing the Big 12 championship game. I think this is going to be a good Baylor team. Yeah. And I don't see, and again, I watched Jackson Arnold for, full season last year as an Oklahoma fan. Did not like what I saw whatsoever. To your point, it could be scheme fit. It could be whatever that reason he didn't work out there, but it's decision-making. That's my concern with him. It's not talent level. It's his ability to recognize the pocket. It's his ability to take off and run when he needs to, which he can. He just refused to. So there are a lot more things to it than just, his offensive line was terrible and his receivers were terrible too. They 100% were. I think if he had a healthy line and healthy receivers, we would have seen a lot of the same. Like Jackson Arnold is not the quarterback I think a lot of people thought he was going to be. And because of that, I know he's going to have more talent around him. Hugh Freeze is still his head coach. So you can say Jackson Arnold is better than Peyton Thorne. I think he 100% is, but Peyton Thorne was doing a lot of what, Hugh Freeze coached into him. And I just remember times late in games where if Auburn had leads, they would still be throwing the ball. And I've not seen anything from Hugh Freeze outside of the recruiting. Once they get to the field, it's poochies, like you said. There's absolutely no faith. So if I just run through their schedule quickly, they'll go 3-0 or 3-0 in their non-Baylor out-of-conference games. So that's 3-1, but they play at OU. They play at A&M. They get Georgia at home, Missouri at home, at Arkansas, at Vanderbilt, who Diego Pavia owns Auburn. He owns all teams from Alabama. That's just what he does, the Vanderbilt quarterback. And then I know they get Alabama at home, but I'm just looking at this. This is a 6-6 or 7-5 team. Like 7.5, if the under for that is plus money, take that. Take that right now. The SEC is as wide, not wide open, but it's as competitive as we've ever seen it, as most of college football is. So I'm telling you, that is tasty. Take the under on Auburn. I know this is the most niche, random thing to be talking about in the middle of June, but I've just seen this, and I don't understand the hype. Until I see it on the field, and I don't think we're going to see it, I'm saying take Auburn unders for most of the year.
Yeah, they have not had a winning record since 2020, and that was the shortened season.
And that was when they fired Gus Malzahn.
Yeah, and they went 6-5.
They at the time, that was, I understood why they wanted to move on, but their pivots since then have just been mind-boggling. Brian Harsin from Boise State was an awful culture fit, 100%. That never should have been the hire. But then to pivot to Hugh Freeze, who fell off a decent amount at the end of his time at Liberty, that didn't make any sense to me. And we can get him and Haw about Hugh Freeze off the field and everything that he did at Ole Miss, but Hugh Freeze is really coasting off of beating Alabama twice a decade ago. Because if you look at everything he's done since then, I know some of those Liberty teams playing literally the weakest schedule in the FBS, going undefeated or winning a lot of games. Like, sure, that's impressive, but you get him against, real good teams on a week-to-week basis, it hasn't shown. I mean, those Ole Miss teams were what? I think 10 wins was maybe their height, and then they would lose stupid games that they shouldn't. So take Auburn unders the whole season. That's what I'm telling you right now.
I love it, Carter.
It's a great call.
You're absolutely on fire right now. Put in the call, Auburn under.